trinket. And guys, Disney Investor Day 2020 has finally arrived, and we got so many different announcements from Star Wars, Disney, Pixar, all those new projects they're going to develop. So I decided to talk about ones I'm very, very excited or interested in. These are my 10 most anticipated Disney investor announcements that I honestly wanted to see. Now, these aren't going to include the ones that have already been announced that we got trailers for, like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, What If, The Little Mermaid, all that stuff that's already been announced earlier. These are just the new announcements that showed up on Disney Investor, or either announcements that I didn't know they were announced until now. So, let's talk about some Disney Investor 2020 announcements that I'm honestly really interested in. So starting off with number 10, we have Encanto. Now, Encanto is a new Disney animated film that's coming out next year with Raya and the Last Dragon. And this is a Disney film that's taking on the Colombian culture, which that's going to be interesting. I like that Disney takes on different country cultures in its movies. And it's basically going to be about this magical family, and this one outsider in this family is not fitting in with it or something like that, what I've heard. The thing I'm mostly very pumped for is that Lin-Manuel Miranda is coming back doing the music for this movie, who he did Moana. So, Lin-Manuel Miranda is such a great musician and a great rapper and also a good songwriter. He did great with Moana, so I'm really curious to see what he does with this movie. But of course, Disney is coming back doing animated films again. Still doing live action films, which I'm okay with, but I'm honestly happy for Disney to come back doing original stuff again. Coming into my number 9 is definitely one of the most interesting ones on this list, and that is the Alien series that's coming out on Hulu. Right when I heard that Alien is going to make a series, I'm honestly feeling very curious to see what the series is about and how it is. I know nothing about who's creating it and all that stuff. I just heard Alien's making the series and I'm like, this is going to be on my list. Curious to see what it's about because I love the Alien movies for the most part. Of course, the first two are classics, so I'm curious to see what the series is about, and it's interesting to see the most iconic movie monster having its own series. So, let's see how this goes. Now, coming into my number 8 is one of the Star Wars properties that's going to be on my list, and the only Star Wars TV series that I'm most interested in, and that is Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I'm literally kind of mixed with Lando series and the series, but the one I'm most interested in out of them is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. First of all, Ewan McGregor, who's in the Star Wars prequels, is returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think he's, in my opinion, the best part about the prequels, what makes the prequels actually okay and fun to watch. But I'm really curious to see what Obi-Wan Kenobi is about. It's about his backstory, or it's about things that took place after Revenge of the Sith, because Hayden Christensen's going to return. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I'm really curious to see his past and all that stuff. I want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi's story. And I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the prequel series, so I'm really curious to see him being this character again, because I grew up with Ewan McGregor in the prequel series, and it's probably the most interesting out of the Star Wars series that I'm honestly really curious about. And I didn't know this was announced until now, so I probably knew it's going to be announced in the past, but probably didn't know that. But yeah, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, probably the most interesting out of the TV series that Star Wars is doing, in my personal opinion. I know there's a lot that people are interested in, but Obi-Wan Kenobi kept my curiosity. Coming to my number 7 is another TV series, but this time it's from the MCU. Now, which one am I most curious about? Well, if you guess Secret Invasion, you got it right. Now, yes, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, all those new announcements that's coming out, I'm interested in as well. Armor Wars, Ironheart, all that stuff. But Secret Invasion is the one that kept my interest, in my opinion. And again, I'm not adding Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision and all that stuff because that's already been announced. These are from the new announcement standpoint. And Secret Invasion is the one I'm like, okay, Nick Fury with Ben Mendelsohn from Captain Marvel doing missions in space. What could we possibly want? I always want to see Nick Fury in his own content, basically. So this as a TV series, and Samuel L. Jackson returns Nick Fury, I feel like we need Nick Fury again, because we haven't seen Nick Fury in the MCU in a very, very long time. And I think he's very underrated, like he hasn't got his own content yet. So Secret Invasion is something that I'm like, okay, I'm really interested to see Nick Fury in this series. And we finally got a standalone Nick Fury content. So, alright, pumped for that because I love Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Coming into my number 6 goes to the Baymax series. I love Big Hero 6. I think Big Hero 6 is one of my favorite Disney films of all time. I love that Disney and Marvel are working together on that movie, and that movie was a huge success, especially from Baymax, one of the best characters in that movie. I love this robot so much. He was badass, he was cute, he was funny. So when I heard now he's making his own series, that I think it's meant to be a sequel to Big Hero 6, that's what I wanted. I wanted a sequel to Big Hero 6, so I think the Baymax series is basically what we needed from that. So, I love Baymax, and I'm really curious to see the series. I haven't seen the animated series, I heard good things about it, so I have to check that out, but Baymax series, I'm totally in for that. And it's good that Disney is doing a lot of Disney Plus shows from its original movies. I feel like that's going to be the most interesting out of all of these announcements that's been announced. So, my number 5 goes to the new Star Wars movie, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Now, the reason why I'm excited for this Star Wars movie is because finally we got our very first female Star Wars director, which is Patty Jenkins, who directed movies like Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 1984 that's coming out this Boxing Day, which I am pumped for. I heard great things about that movie. So I'm really curious to see Patty Jenkins' direction with this movie, especially it's talking about the Rogue Squadron. Remember the rebellions that Luke Skywalker was with to destroy the Death Star? Those pilots. And I'm really interested to see this crew in a whole new direction. Especially it's going to be one of the most interesting out of the Star Wars movies that's going to be announced. Actually, I think it's the only Star Wars movie that's actually been announced, because most of them are TV series. So I'm really curious to see Patty Jenkins' direction with this movie, and hopefully we've got another good Star Wars movie after the success of Rise of Skywalker. Fuck me. Coming into my number 4 goes to the Moana series. Now, Moana. I love Moana. I think it's a great Disney film. I want to see Ali Carvalho returning as Moana and Dwayne Johnson returning as Maui. Hopefully Dwayne Johnson returns as Maui. I think that will be very, very interesting. But especially that most Disney properties are making it serious now, it just got me more interested and developed with it. And I think Moana could be an interesting approach. Moana going on different adventures with Maui. So, I'm really curious to see what the show is. And hopefully Lin-Manuel Miranda comes to do the music for the series as well. That would be interesting. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I know nothing about these announcements. When I just see these announcements, I haven't read about them, I'm just like, these are announcements, I'm like, oh, that's going to be made? Interesting. Very interesting. Now, number 3, this is the last Disney Plus announcement for its Disney series, I promise, Zootopia Plus. Zootopia is one of those Disney movies that really give us some mature content. It's probably more for adults than kids. I love Zootopia. I think it's a great Disney movie. So, like Moana and Baymax, when it's going to make a series, I'm really curious to see where it goes. I wonder what the series is about. I heard nothing about the series. I don't know what is it about. But when it's a new Zootopia series, I'm like, okay, interesting. Especially it's called Zootopia Plus. Get it? Because it's Disney Plus with Zootopia. Just titles. Even Zootopia knows what property it's going to be on. Now, 2 and 1. I could put both of these 2 in my number 1. That's like for every list I do. But of course, I have to put them in order. So my number 2, still excited for this. I would say it's my most anticipated out of the animated announcements, or Disney announcements they're doing. And that is Disney Pixar's Lightyear. This is going to tell a story about the real Buzz Lightyear, not the toy Buzz Lightyear. About what makes the toy the real life Buzz Lightyear. Voicing by Chris Evans. Which, that is honestly, I'm honestly pumped for that. Yes, I'm kind of pissed that Tim Allen's not voicing it, but now that I think about it, Tim Allen plays the toy Buzz Lightyear. But the original Buzz Lightyear has to be someone different. So I think Chris Evans could nail that voiceover on the map because he could do a good heroic voice. Just from that first pick, I'm like, this does not look like Toy Story in a really good way. It's going to talk about the real Buzz Lightyear probably stopping the real Emperor Zurg. So I'm so excited. Just when I see that title, I'm like, we're in for a ride. We're in for a ride, Pixar, with some new original content and some new spin-offs as well. But my number 1, this is the announcement that I'm mostly pumped for. Now, this is the announcement that I thought it was rumored that it's announced, but finally it's official. In 2023, this is announced. This is an MCU movie that I'm honestly really pumped for because I grew up with the comics, and that is Fantastic Four. Now, Fantastic Four, I grew up with the comics. I think the comics of Fantastic Four was fantastic. But the thing that the movies did it so wrong is that they treat them as people. They don't treat them as a family. They treat them as people. So now when I found the MCU's going to take them out, I'm like, they're going to fix whatever they do wrong with the other Fantastic Four movies. Make them a family. Make them explorers like they were in the comic books. Now, we haven't got announcements of the casting of Fantastic Four yet, but I really want John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as the Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic. Because, first of all, John Krasinski wants to play that role of Mr. Fantastic, and it would be really cute to see the real-life famous couple together for a comic book film, especially Emily Blunt for a comic book film. Very interested to see if they actually announce that. But I'm really curious to see who's going to play the Human Torch and the Thing, who's going to be the villain. Hopefully it's the Mole Man for this one, like not Doctor Doom. Give Doctor Doom a rest. Maybe put him in the second Fantastic Four movie. Or do his own solo series. That could be interesting. Doing what Doctor Doom has meant to do in the comic books and put him in the series. But Fantastic Four is definitely one of those MCU movies that I'm like, okay, I want that to be made. I want Marvel to fix what they did wrong with the movies. So when they officially announced that they're actually going to do it, and Don Watts, the director of Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home, is directing it, I'm honestly like, okay, I think Don Watts is going to do it right. He can make comedy and action work with this movie. So Fantastic Four is definitely my most anticipated out of all the announcements from Disney Investor Day 2020. So guys, these are my top 10 most anticipated announcements from Disney Investor Day 2020. Let me know down below what are your top 10 Disney investor announcements that's been showing. Are you excited for these movies I'm talking about? Or are you excited for other movies that are there? Just let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter. Keep contacting me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews, and have a nice day.